I'm typing this at 2 a.m. because I can't sleep, and I need to get this off my chest before I lose my mind completely. My best friend of 15 years just destroyed my life, and when I found out why, it made everything so much worse. I don't even know where to start, but I guess I'll start with my mother's funeral. Mom died 3 weeks ago. Pancreatic cancer. She went from diagnosis to gone in 4 months, and those 4 months were the worst of my entire life. I'm an only child. Dad left when I was 6, so it was always just me and Mom. She was my best friend, my cheerleader, my entire support system. Watching her fade away, watching the chemo destroy her, watching her pretend she wasn't terrified so I wouldn't be scared, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. My best friend Jake was there through most of it. He'd known my mom since we were 12, since the day I moved into the house next door to his. Mom used to make us sandwiches after school, let us stay up late playing video games on weekends, drove us to concerts when we were too young to drive ourselves. Jake called her Mama Chen, and she loved him like a second son. So when she got sick, Jake was devastated too. He came to the hospital with me, sat through some of the chemo sessions, helped me research treatment options even though we both knew it was hopeless. The funeral was on a Saturday. Small service, just some of Mom's co-workers, a few neighbors, some people from her book club. I gave a eulogy that I barely got through without breaking down completely. Jake sat in the front row and I could see him crying too, which somehow made it harder and easier at the same time. After the service, we went back to Mom's house, my house now, I guess, though I couldn't think of it that way yet. People brought casseroles and talked in hushed voices, and I smiled and thanked them, and felt completely hollow inside. Jake stayed after everyone left, helped me clean up, put away food, just sat with me in the living room where Mom and I used to watch our Friday night movies. I don't know how to do this, I told him. I was 30 years old and I felt like a lost kid. I don't know how to exist without her. You don't have to figure it out today, Jake said. You just have to get through today. Then tomorrow, you get through tomorrow. I'm here, man. Whatever you need. I believed him. Of course I believed him. He was my best friend. My brother in everything but blood. That's when he got a text. I saw his face change, saw him glance at his phone and then quickly put it away. Then another text. And another. You can answer that, I said. It's okay. No, it's fine. It's nothing. But his phone kept buzzing. Finally, he looked at it and I saw something cross his face, excitement, maybe. Anticipation. He stood up abruptly. Hey, I actually need to head out. Are you going to be okay? I stared at him. What? I have this thing I need to get to. But I can come back tomorrow, okay? We'll sort through stuff, figure out what you need to do with the house. Jake, my mom's funeral was 4 hours ago. I know, and I'm really sorry, but this is important. More important than this. He had the decency to look uncomfortable. It's just, look, I have a date. I've been trying to set this up for weeks and she finally said yes and I can't cancel. I felt like I'd been punched. A date. Her name is Sophia. She's amazing, dude. I really think this could be something. My mother just died. I know, and I'm so sorry. But you said yourself you just need to get through today. You can do that. You're strong. And I'll check in with you tomorrow, I promise. I couldn't even form words. I just sat there on my dead mother's couch, while my best friend of 15 years told me he was leaving my mother's funeral day to go on a date. Are you serious right now? I finally managed. Don't be like that. You're going to be fine for one night. It's not like I'm abandoning you. That's exactly what you're doing. Oh come on, don't be dramatic. I was here all day. I gave my support. But life goes on, you know. I can't put my entire life on hold because you're sad. Because I'm sad. Like my mother dying was equivalent to having a bad day at work. Get out, I said quietly. What? Get out of my house. Dude, you're overreacting. I'm just trying to have a life here. You can't expect me to. Get out. I was standing now, shaking. Get out of my house right now. Jake threw up his hands. Fine. Fine. Call me when you're being rational again. He grabbed his jacket and left, and I heard his car pull away, and I sat in that empty house that still smelled like my mother's perfume, and I cried harder than I'd cried all day. I didn't call him. He didn't call me. 2 days went by. 3 days. A week. I was drowning in paperwork, death certificates, insurance claims, mortgage documents, bills I didn't know Mom had. I was trying to sort through her things and every item I touched made me cry. Her favorite mug. Her reading glasses. The blanket she'd wrapped herself in during chemo. I needed help. I needed my best friend. But I was still so angry and hurt, and I didn't know how to reach out first when he was the one who'd left me. Finally, after 10 days, he texted, "Hey man. How are you holding up?" I stared at that text for an hour before responding, "Not great." "Yeah, I figured. Want to grab a beer tonight?" Just like that. Like nothing had happened. Like he hadn't abandoned me on the worst day of my life. But I was so lonely, and I missed him, and I thought maybe if we talked it out, he'd apologize and we could move past this. We met at our usual bar. Jake looked good, happy, actually. He was smiling when I walked in, waving me over to our regular booth. "Hey. It's good to see you, man. You look like shit." "Thanks," I said flatly. He didn't seem to notice my tone. He started talking about work, some project he was excited about, and then he said, "Oh, and Sophia and I are official now. It's going really well." I felt that punch in the gut again. The girl from the date. Yeah. Dude, she's incredible. I really think she might be the one, you know. The date you left my mom's funeral for. His smile faltered. Are we really going to do this? Do what? Get into this again. I thought we were past it. Past it? Jake, you left me alone on the day of my mother's funeral to go on a date. And you haven't once apologized. Because I don't think I did anything wrong. He leaned back, arms crossed. Look, I was there all day. I supported you. But I'm allowed to have a life. I'm allowed to date. You're not the only person in the world with problems. My mother died. I know. And that sucks. But you can't expect everyone to stop living their lives because of it. I stood up. I need to go. Oh, come on, don't do this. Don't make this into some big thing. It is a big thing, Jake. It's the biggest thing. And the fact that you can't see that, I stopped, shook my head. I can't do this right now. I left. He didn't follow me. That's when everything with the house started falling apart. See, Mom and I had been planning for months before she got sick to buy a bigger house together. She was going to move in with me, we were going to have space for her art studio, space for the grandkids she kept insisting I'd give her someday. We'd found the perfect place, a 3-bedroom craftsman with a huge backyard and original hardwood floors. We'd put down a deposit, signed a purchase agreement, the whole thing. Then Mom got sick and obviously we put the house hunt on hold. But the deposit was non-refundable, and the purchase agreement had a deadline. I'd been so consumed with Mom's care that I'd completely forgotten about it until I got a call from our real estate agent. "Marcus, I'm so sorry about your mother, she said. But we need to talk about the Riverside property. The sellers are asking when you want to schedule the final walkthrough and set a closing date. My stomach dropped. I can't buy that house. My mom died. I can't afford it on my own. I understand, but the purchase agreement. I know. The deposit. How much do I lose? $45,000. I nearly threw up. $45,000. That was Mom's entire life savings. Money she'd scraped together working double shifts as a nurse, money she'd been so excited to put toward our dream house. Isn't there any way to get it back? Some kind of hardship clause. Not unless you can prove you're unable to secure financing. Have you tried applying for a mortgage on your own? I had. The bank had laughed me out of the building. I worked as a freelance graphic designer, good income, but not steady enough for a mortgage that size, especially with Mom's medical bills still hanging over me. There has to be something I can do, I said desperately. Well, if you had a co-signer. Someone with stable income, who could guarantee the loan. A co-signer. I immediately thought of Jake. Jake had a great job in software development, made 6 figures, had excellent credit. He'd been planning to be in the wedding party when I eventually got married, had promised to be godfather to my future kids. Surely he'd help me with this. I called him. For the first time since the bar, I actually called. Hey, he answered. He sounded cautious. Jake, I need your help. Okay. I explained the situation, the house, the deposit, the mortgage, the co-signer. I just need your name on the loan. You wouldn't actually have to pay anything. It's just to get the bank to approve it. Please. It's my mom's money. I can't lose it. There was a long silence. Jake? I don't think that's a good idea. What? Why not? Co-signing a loan is a huge responsibility, Marcus. If you default, it destroys my credit. I can't take that risk. I'm not going to default. I make enough to cover the mortgage. The bank just won't approve me because I'm freelance. Yeah, exactly. Freelance is unstable. What if you lose clients? What if you get sick? I'd be on the hook for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Jake, we've been friends for 15 years. I'm not asking you to give me money. I'm asking you to help me not lose my mother's life savings. And I'm saying I can't do that. It's not personal. It's just too much risk. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You're saying no. I'm saying I have to think about my own financial future. Sophia and I are getting serious. We're talking about moving in together, maybe getting engaged. I can't jeopardize that. Sophia. The girl you've known for 2 weeks. Don't do that. Don't minimize my relationship. You left my mother's funeral for her. And now you won't help me because of her. This isn't about Sophia. This is about me protecting myself. You're the one making this personal. It is personal. You're my best friend. You're supposed to be there when I need you. I was there. I was there through your mom's whole illness. I was at the funeral. But I can't sacrifice my entire financial future because you made a bad real estate decision. I made that decision when my mother was alive and we were buying it together. Well, she's not alive anymore. I'm sorry, but that's reality. Sometimes plans change. You need to accept that and move on. I hung up on him. I was shaking so hard I dropped my phone. $45,000. Gone? Because I couldn't qualify for a mortgage alone and my best friend wouldn't help me. I called other people. I called my uncle in Seattle, who I'd seen maybe 5 times in my life. I called Mom's brother, who she'd been estranged from for years. I called friends from college I hadn't talked to in ages. Everyone said the same thing: sorry, can't help, it's too much risk, too much responsibility. The house sale fell through. I lost the deposit. $45,000 of my mother's money, just gone. I fell into a really dark place after that. I stopped taking on new design work. I stopped answering calls. I stayed in Mom's house, surrounded by her things, unable to move forward, unable to let go. Jake texted a few times. Hey man, just checking in. Want to grab lunch? Haven't heard from you in a while. I ignored all of them. Then, 3 days ago, I was scrolling Instagram at 3 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. I don't know why I looked at Jake's profile. Morbid curiosity, maybe. Wanting to see if he was happy while I was falling apart. He'd posted a photo 2 weeks ago, right around the time of our bar conversation, actually. It was him and Sophia at some fancy restaurant, big smiles, champagne glasses raised. The caption said, "Celebrating some amazing news with my amazing girl." I scrolled through the comments. Lots of congratulations, heart emojis, people asking what the news was. Then I saw Sophia's Instagram was tagged. I clicked on her profile. Her most recent post was from the same night. Same restaurant, same champagne. But her caption was different: "Dreams really do come true. Just put a deposit down on our first home together. Moving in with this one in 60 days. House heavy black heart # sparkles." I stared at that post for what felt like an hour. Jake bought a house. With Sophia. The girl he'd known for 3 weeks. He'd put down a deposit, money he had but apparently couldn't risk on co-signing my loan, on a house for a relationship that was barely old enough to drink. I looked at the photos. It was a beautiful house. Probably expensive. Definitely the kind of place that required a significant deposit and a large mortgage. He had the money. He had the credit. He had the ability to help me. And he chose not to. But he chose to buy a house with a stranger instead. I sat there in my dead mother's house in the dark, staring at that Instagram post, and something inside me just broke. Or maybe it finally crystallized. Cleared. I saw everything with perfect, horrible clarity. Jake didn't leave my mother's funeral because he had an unmissable date. He left because he didn't want to be there. Because my grief was uncomfortable, inconvenient, heavy. He wanted to be with someone new and shiny and fun, not sitting in a house full of death and sadness. And when I needed him, really, truly needed him, he'd calculated the risk and decided I wasn't worth it. Decided that a girl he barely knew was a better investment than a friendship of 15 years. I screenshot everything. The posts, the comments, the dates. Then I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I went back through all of Jake's posts from the last month. There were lots of Sophia. Dinner dates, concert tickets, weekend trips. And one post from 2 weeks before my mother's funeral, Jake standing in what looked like a real estate office, shaking hands with someone, caption reading, "Starting the house hunting journey. Can't wait to find the perfect." 2 weeks before Mom died. Jake was already planning to buy a house. Which meant he absolutely knew, that he was about to make a huge financial commitment. And when I asked him for help, he lied. He didn't say, "I just bought a house and can't take on more financial risk." He said co-signing was too risky for his future with Sophia. Made it sound like a hypothetical concern, not an active decision he'd already made. He'd chosen. Consciously, deliberately chosen. How over me. His new relationship over our 15-year friendship. His happiness over my mother's legacy. I called him. For the first time in weeks, I actually called. It was 3:30 a.m., but I didn't care. He answered on the fifth ring, voice groggy. Marcus. What's wrong? You bought a house. Silence. Long enough that I thought maybe he'd hung up. Marcus. You bought a house with Sophia. When did you put the deposit down? More silence. 2 weeks ago, he finally said. But? 2 weeks ago. Right around when I asked you to co-sign my mortgage. The mortgage I needed to not lose my mother's life savings. It's not the same thing. You're right. It's not. Because you chose to buy a house with a girl you'd known for a month instead of helping your best friend of 15 years. That's not fair. Buying a house with Sophia is different than co-signing your loan. How? How is it different? Because it's my money, my investment. If I co-signed your loan, I'd be responsible for your debt. With Sophia, we are building something together. We were supposed to build something together. You, me, Mom. We talked about it. You said when I found the right place, you'd help me throw a housewarming party. You said you'd help me paint the spare bedroom. You said you'd be there. Plans change. You keep saying that. Plans change. She's not alive anymore. Sometimes things don't work out. Do you hear yourself? Do you hear how callous you sound? I am being realistic. I am sorry your mom died, I really am. But I can't live my life on hold because you're grieving. I can't make major financial decisions based on your needs when I have my own life to think about. Then why are we friends? He didn't answer that. Friendship isn't supposed to be about convenience, Jake. It's not supposed to be, I'll be there for you as long as it doesn't inconvenience me. That's not how this works. Maybe that's the problem, he said, and his voice was harder now. Maybe you expect too much. Maybe you think friendship means everyone has to sacrifice everything for you. But it doesn't. I'm allowed to have boundaries. I'm allowed to prioritize my own life. You left my mother's funeral for a date. Are you ever going to let that go? No. I was yelling now. No, I'm not going to let it go. Because it showed me exactly who you are. You're someone who values a hot date over comforting your best friend on the worst day of his life. You're someone who spends money on a house with a stranger, but won't help your friend save his mother's legacy. You're someone who says I'll be there, but only means it when it's easy. You know what? Fine. You want to know the truth. I was tired. I was tired of the hospital visits and the cancer talk and watching your mom die slowly. I was tired of you calling me crying at 2 a.m. I was tired of my entire life revolving around your tragedy. So yes, when Sophia asked me out, I said yes because I wanted one night, to feel normal and happy instead of drowning in your sadness. And I don't regret it. I felt like he'd physically struck me. And the house? I managed to ask through the tightness in my throat. Why did you lie about the house? I didn't lie. I knew if I told you I was buying a place with Sophia, you'd make it into this thing. You'd say I had money for her but not for you. Which is exactly what you're doing right now. Because it's true. It's not the same thing, Marcus. Sophia and I are building a life together. You were asking me to tie myself financially to someone who's barely holding it together. What if you spiral? What if you can't make the payments? What if your grief makes you unable to work? I'd be stuck with your mortgage. I'm barely holding it together because my mother died and my best friend abandoned me. I didn't abandon you. God, you're so dramatic. I was there. I did everything I could. But I can't fix this for you. I can't bring your mom back. And I can't sacrifice my entire future because you're sad. There it was again. Because you're sad. Like my mother dying was a mood. A phase. Something I'd get over if I just tried harder. You're right, I said quietly. You can't bring her back. And you can't fix this. But you could have been there. You could have stayed that night. You could have helped me with the house. You could have chosen our friendship. I did choose. I chose myself. And I'm not going to apologize for that. Then we have nothing left to say to each other. I hung up. This time, I blocked his number. Blocked him on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. I didn't want to see his happy photos with Sophia in their new house. I didn't want to see him living his best life while I fell apart. My mom's best friend from the hospital, a woman named Patricia who'd been a nurse with her for 20 years, called me the next day. Somehow she'd heard about the house situation, about Jake. Your mama told me once, Patricia said in her soft voice, that the hardest part about dying wasn't leaving you. It was worrying about who would take care of you when she was gone. She said Jake was like a son to her, that she knew he'd be there for you. I started crying. He's not. No, baby, I can hear that. And I'm so sorry. But you need to hear something. Your mama also said that sometimes the people we think are family show us they are not. And that's when we find out who our real family is. I don't have anyone else. Yes, you do. You have everyone your mama loved. You have her friends, her co-workers, her book club ladies. You have me. And we all loved her, which means we love you. You're not alone, Marcus. You just lost someone who you thought was family but wasn't. She paused, then added, and about that house money. I have some savings. It's not 45,000, but it's something. And I've been talking to some of the other nurses. We're going to help you. I couldn't speak. Your mama spent her whole life taking care of people, Patricia continued. Let us take care of her son. Let us be the family Jake couldn't be. Over the next 2 days, Patricia organized a GoFundMe. She shared it with Mom's entire network, the nurses, the book club, the neighbors, people from church Mom and I hadn't been to in years. The donations started coming in. $20 here, $50 there. Some people I didn't even recognize sending hundreds with notes like your mom was an angel, and she helped me through the hardest time of my life. Within a week, we'd raised $32,000. Not quite the full deposit, but enough that when Patricia co-signed my mortgage application, she had a house paid off, good credit, and 30 years of stable nursing income. The bank approved it. I got the house. Not the original one we'd lost, but a different one. Smaller, but perfect. 2 bedrooms, a little office space, a backyard where Mom could have had her garden. I closed on it 2 days ago. Patricia came to the walkthrough with me. So did 5 of Mom's nurse friends. So did the entire book club. They brought cleaning supplies and champagne and sandwiches, and we spent the day making it home. One of the book club ladies, Mrs. Chen, no relation, but Mom always joked it was fate, pulled me aside at one point. Your mother would be so proud of you, she said. I didn't do anything. Patricia and everyone else did everything. You let us help. That's harder than people think. And you didn't let grief turn you bitter. That boy, Jake, he'll realize someday what he lost. Maybe not today, maybe not for years. But eventually, he'll need someone and they won't be there. And he'll understand. I wanted to believe that. I wanted to believe in karma, in justice, in people getting what they deserve. But mostly I just felt tired. Tired and sad and relieved all at once. This morning, I woke up in my new house. My house. The one I got because a community of people who loved my mother decided to love me too. The one I got despite Jake, not because of him. I made coffee in the kitchen, Mom's old coffee maker that I'd brought from her place. I sat in the living room with boxes still unpacked around me. And I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Peace. Not happiness, not yet. But peace. There was a knock on my door around noon. I wasn't expecting anyone, but when I opened it, Patricia was standing there with a huge Boston fern in her arms. "Your mama loved these," she said. "I thought your new place needed one." She helped me hang it in the kitchen window, right where the morning light would hit it. We stood back and looked at it, and I thought about Mom in her hospital bed, weak and bald from chemo, telling me about all the plants she was going to grow when she got better. She didn't get better. But her plant was growing in my kitchen anyway. "Thank you," I told Patricia. "For everything. That's what family does, honey." After she left, I finally unblocked Jake's number. Not to call him. Not to text him. Just to see if he'd tried to reach out. He had. One message, sent 3 days ago. "I heard about the GoFundMe. Glad it worked out for you." That was it. No apology. No acknowledgement of what he'd done. Just glad it worked out. Like I'd won the lottery, not like I'd lost my mother and nearly lost her legacy, and had to be saved by people who barely knew me because my best friend couldn't be bothered. I didn't respond. Instead, I blocked him again. Permanently this time. Because Mrs. Chen was right. Jake would realize someday what he needs a friend at 2 a.m. and realizes he doesn't have any because he's spent his life calculating the cost-benefit analysis of every relationship. But by then, I'll be long gone. Living in the house that Mom's Real family helped me get. Surrounded by people who know that love isn't conditional, that friendship isn't transactional, that family shows up even when, especially when, it's hard. Jake chose the easy path. The fun path. The path where grief is inconvenient and helping is too risky, and relationships are disposable when they stop serving you. I choose differently. I choose the people who chose me. I choose to honor my mother by being the kind of person she raised me to be, someone who shows up, who helps, who understands that love requires sacrifice sometimes. Jake texted once more, this morning. I saw the preview before I blocked him again. "Can we talk? I think I made a mistake." I deleted it without reading the rest. Some mistakes don't get second chances. Some bridges, once burned, can't be rebuilt. I'm okay with that. For the first time in months, I'm okay with letting go. Mom would be proud of me. Patricia says so. The book club says so. And somewhere, deep down, I believe it too. That's enough. That's more than enough. Jake can live with his choices. I'll live with mine.